I have been in love with Dungeons & Dragons for over a year now. I listen to 6 different D&D podcasts and have notifications turned on for any time any single one of them uploads a brand new video. With all these podcasts combined, I have listened to well over 1,000 hours of D&D in the course of 1 year. This obsession is due to one D&D podcast. My first D&D podcast, my favorite D&D podcast, the funniest D&D podcast, and the best written D&D podcast of all time. This incredible podcast is Just Roll With It, or JRWI, as I will be referring to it for the rest of this video. JRWI has 4 campaigns that I listen to and love. These campaigns are Riptide, Prime Defenders, Apotheosis, and Blood in the Bayou. Riptide is a campaign set in the world of Mana, with pirates, fishmen, a war with the Navy, and an ominous great evil lurking in the inky black depths of the world. Riptide is an amazing adventure about friendship and finding what destiny truly is. Riptide is an ongoing campaign that has been running for over a year. It is on episode 84 and also has a 2-part one-shot as a prequel to the campaign. Riptide is available anywhere you can listen to podcasts. I personally listen on YouTube. Prime Defenders is set in the world of Prime, with superheroes, ghosts, demons, a French frog, and RPG characters stuck in an alternate dimension. Prime Defenders is about growing pains, finding a place in your world, and what it means to be a hero. Prime Defenders is an ongoing campaign, took a break in the middle, but is once again back in business on Season 2, Episode 17. It also has a 2-part one-shot as a prequel to the campaign. Prime Defender's first 5 episodes can be watched for free on YouTube, with the rest of the campaign only being exclusive on Patreon for $5. Apotheosis is set in the world of Preveris, with god slayers, sklointers, cult leaders, and fallen gods possessing mortals. Apotheosis is a story of redemption and revolution. Apotheosis is a recently finished campaign, and it is the first campaign they have finished with only having 14 episodes. The first episode is free on YouTube, with the rest of the campaign being exclusive on Patreon for $5. Blood in the Bayou is set in the world of Earth, specifically in Galloway, Louisiana, during the 80s. With barriers, brains, drugs, and clicking, Blood in the Bayou is a story of terror and madness. Blood in the Bayou is a recently finished short campaign that has 4 eerie episodes. Its first episode is free on YouTube, with the rest of the campaign exclusive on Patreon for $5. There's a lot of variety to choose from, so hopefully at least one of these campaigns will pique your interest. Plus, you get access to all 3 of these campaigns for only $5 on Patreon. I would, however, recommend you start over on YouTube with the free episodes before you decide to go that route, just in case it's not for you. The JRWI crew consists of 4 hilarious individuals. They are Zach Bisley, Eric Condifiction, Nate Grizzly, and Charlie Slimesicle. All 4 of these men make some awesome content on their original channels, but I feel their passion truly flourishes when it comes to D&D. Bisley plays Chip the Bastard in Riptide, Thanatos the God Slayer in Apotheosis, Rand the Conspiracy Pothead in Blood in the Bayou, and is the Super DM for Prime Defenders. Connie plays Jay Farron, the rebellious Navy girl in Riptide, Virion or Vincent Soul in the fantasy hero in Prime Defenders, Roland Deep, the lawyer in Blood in the Bayou, and is the godly DM for Apotheosis. Grizzly plays Dakota Cole, the truest superhero in Prime Defenders, Rumi the storyteller in Apotheosis, Kean Stone, the Hollywood rock star in Blood in the Bayou, and is the wayfaring DM in Riptide. Slime plays Gillian Todstrider, the champion of the undersea, the hero of the deep, the one moisture master, and a huge list of titles in Riptide. William Wisp, the sad ghost boy in Prime Defenders. Peter Skloint, the rock collector in Apotheosis, and is the spooktacular DM of Blood in the Bayou. These 4 have known each other for a very long time, and it truly shows in the chemistry of their characters. They are not afraid to do something goofy or say something that someone might think is weird. It is clear that their friendship gives them the confidence and motivation needed to say whatever comes to mind and not be afraid to act the way that their character would act, even when it's something that them as a person may not be comfortable with doing. For example, when they first started the Riptide campaign, it was obvious that Condi had a hard time getting into character and allowing himself to show the emotions that his character would feel. He would uncomfortably laugh during those scenes to help himself get through the awkwardness. Now he is at a point that if he does feel awkward, he hides it well. He has some of the most compelling scenes due to how he portrays Jay. Jay is truly an amazing character, and it is only due to Condi's bravery to let his guard down and play Jay as if she was a real person and allow himself to become immersed in his character. Let's get one thing straight. D&D is not a game for judgment. It is a game full of improv and acting. These are things not everyone is comfortable with. It requires you to let your guard down and use your imagination to allow yourself to become immersed in a world with an amazing design. I had to allow myself to look past these YouTubers and see these characters as people. Because that's the thing, the characters are people. They have motivations and they have a certain way that they think. Yes, there is a person playing that, but it's the equivalent of acting. These people are playing a character, and to make the character seem real, they have to portray them as such. D&D was weird for me at first. I had to look past these people and see the characters for who they were. But now, I can't help but find myself wanting more and more and more of their adventures. I even find myself often checking every single day to see if they have posted a new video yet. I wanted more content so badly that back when they first started Prime Defenders, I subscribed to their Patreon. I even subscribed to the second tier so I could listen to them talk about the episode afterwards and see how the players felt about the progress of the episode. These sessions are called Just Rolled With It. You know, because like just roll with it, just rolled with it. It's like a past tense. You get it. I am still subscribed to this day because that is one of the most important things to remember. The players often have no idea what's in store for them and learn as we learn. Anything can happen. The DM could have a plot twist. The characters may get sidetracked with some funny event. A character could die. Intuition could lead to the characters discovering more than the DM had planned. Sometimes the DM has to make changes to the story on the fly, etc. That is the fun of D&D. Nothing is truly in your power. It is mostly up to the rules. This could lead to something amazing or something awful. It all depends on how the DM and the players choose to play out the roles. And let's get this straight. These DMs and players know how to make any moment impactful. A bad roll could lead to your sword getting stuck in a place you may never be able to get it back from.
A foreshadowing.
Whereas a good roll could give you the ability to oppose your nature.
Also foreshadowing.
The DM and players think very fast on their feet to decide how these roles will be played out. And JRWI's group are very good at what they do. Our worlds are lush and full of life. Every NPC is unique and feels like a real person. Each location feels new and original. Stories always feel well thought out and find a way to progress even when the players derail it, which happens a lot. The main characters feel dynamic and ever growing, and the comedy is in a class of its own. The bits in these campaigns are always hilarious. One of my favorite bits that always occurs is the intro itself. During these, they will always introduce the characters that they play and themselves, the players. Every time they do, it is always different and always some kind of joke behind it. From Oblivion NPCs,
I play Gillian Tidestruck. Goodbye.
Oh! Die! Die by my blade!
Then pay with your blood!
Oh! Die by my blade!
The gods will it. This bit's going on too long.
Then pay with
to buttering butter boys.
I don't know how I got here actually.
You talk to your mama with that mouth! Boy!
You wanna get slapped, butter boy?
Shit!
You wanna get slapped with little butter boy?
I want to be slapped with butter. Call me a butter boy again, sir.
You a weird one, boy, but I like it. Who are you?
DM Grizzly, sir. I'm Connie. Sir, I play Jay Farron.
You better hope your daddy remembers your name, because I sure ain't. Next.
DM Grizzly, Charlie Slapskull reporting for duty, sir. Butter me up, sir. I play Gillian Tide Strider. What do I need to do for butter, sir? Butter me up. Send me down a slide. Roll me around, sir.
Here comes the butter.
The bits are always hilarious. This group has a hard time allowing a single serious moment to occur, but when they do, they're truly something amazing. I won't give an example of it because there's some truly incredible moments that happen in these campaigns, and I don't want to spoil any of them in case you decide to actually give it a try. The JRWI crew consists of these 4 people, but they do get assistance on a few things. They have, I believe, only one editor, whom is named Teasin, and he does amazing work. They often commission artists to create their thumbnails and draw their characters. They often have guests on to play guest characters who will stick around for a few episodes and leave a lasting impact on the story. And they often have people from their lives to assist on the plots of their stories. Though all of these people tend to stay in the background, they are vital to this group and part of what makes JRWI so good. They do an amazing job and deserve praise for all of their hard work. So from me to the team that works on JRWI, thank you very much for all that you do. It is because of you guys that we have such amazing content in this community, and I'm so happy to be part of it. Speaking of art, the thumbnails and character design are spectacular. You have already seen some of that art earlier in this video. I showed them for each of the character designs. Those are actually made as commissions. All of the art is beautifully drawn. I even have one of these pieces of art as the wallpaper on my phone. And I even use the wallpaper engine on Steam to create my own wallpaper using the thumbnails of some of the episodes. JRWI commissions some of the best artists, and their work is spectacular. The team themselves have even made a couple of songs. One in Riptide, one in Prime Defenders, and a few for Blood in the Bayou. I believe Grizzly did the mixing for the song. They have also dropped a couple of pieces of merch. I am wearing one of these pieces now. It is this beautifully designed Riptide Pirates sweater. The other, which I unfortunately do not own, is a Prime Defenders poster. For any of those curious about my favorite characters in each campaign, they are Gillian Tidestrider and Riptide, Dakota Cole and Prime Defenders, Thanatos and Apotheosis, and Roland Deep and Blood in the Bayou. Though these are my favorite characters, just know that I don't dislike any of the characters, and I think all of them are magnificent. The stories are as good as they are because these characters often interact in a certain way that no other characters could. For example, in Apotheosis, we have a god slayer, a man who uses a blade from God and essentially wants to become God, and a regular dude who is possessed by an archangel. It is due to their opposite natures that they work so well together and lead to a lot of the change in each character's development. One of the funniest things of the campaign was finding that how each character ended was not exactly how they expected their character's plot to go, and not how they actually wanted it to go. Their minds changed over the course of the campaign because of how they interacted with each other. And through all of the campaigns, it's very similar to this. The characters play off of each other and synergize very well, to the point to where the stories are always very compelling and just so uniquely driven. There is no best character. All of the characters are incredibly designed and have fantastic backstories. I, however, will not name a favorite campaign. The reason being that all of the campaigns are so very different from each other, and it's really hard to say which one is your favorite when they just don't compare. Some are shorter than others and have some fantastic plot and character development because of it, whereas others are super long and not finished yet, and the character development is still fantastic, with some amazing story plots that continue to grow as the story progresses. So I will not name which campaign is my favorite, because they're all my favorites. I love all the campaigns equally, and I think they're fantastic. Genuinely, you should listen to them. If you're a fan of JRWI, then why don't you go ahead and leave a comment down below saying who your favorite characters are and why. Also, if you're feeling brave and lucky, go ahead and tell us what your favorite campaign is and why that one in particular is your favorite one. Go on, do it. I won't tell anyone. I have been listening and watching this podcast for over a year. Actually, we're coming pretty close to 2 years. I have watched every episode since the one-shots were released. I've only seen a little bit of their content from before the one-shots, and I can say it definitely wasn't anywhere near as good as what they do now. It was still enjoyable, but it just wasn't as good as these plots that they have come up with personally. Their team used to be a little bit bigger, and let's just say they've done better since it's been just the 4 of them. The majority of the old stuff has been removed from their channel due to a lot of things that occurred, but honestly, it's for the best. All their new stuff is so amazing that this is what their channel should be. With where these guys are at now, with the content that they're making, they and everyone helping them design the story, the music, the thumbnails, the editing, man, they're all freaking creative geniuses. They inspire me so much because of how just freaking amazing they are. I always come back wanting to hear more from their story. The freaking world building's fantastic. And Riptide is such a beautifully well-designed pirate world with an underground civilization and an overground civilization with a clash between the land, the sea, and the navy and the pirates, and it's beautifully designed. The world designs are beautiful, so well described and crafted, and so on and so forth. All of their campaigns are beautifully well written. All of their worlds are amazingly designed. It's incredible. It's fascinating, and I love it. I love it. I am obsessed with D&D. I have listened to several other podcasts as well. The main reason I am so obsessed is because of this group. They have designed some amazing stories and amazing worlds that I love so much that I've been listening for 2 years. Almost 2 years. They kicked my obsession off with D&D, and I am so ever grateful for it. If after listening to this or watching this, you aren't sure whether or not you would like D&D, I say try giving this podcast a try. It'll probably seem very lame and cringe at first, because that's how I felt about it when I first started. But once you get into the plots, you fall in love with the campaigns. You fall in love with D&D, you can fall in love with the characters, how well they are designed, how funny they are, how incredible the scenes are. You just need some imagination. I mean, come on, what's the harm? You risk seeming like a nerd? I mean, let's be honest. We're at the point now where D&D is the cool thing to do. I mean, you could thank Stranger Things for that. The one thing I suggest is give it a try. Go onto YouTube, go over to Just Roll With It, look up the editor's note. I misspoke in the original recording and meant to say the Black Rose Pirates. 2-part one-shot adventure. Listen to the whole thing, both episodes, and then decide how you feel. Because I'm gonna be honest, the first part of that first half of that one-shot was very cringe for me, and I almost didn't finish it. But I allowed myself to push through that, listen to the whole entire video, and listen to the second part, and dude, I've been hooked ever since. And just know, it all goes uphill from there. Everything from that point forward is better and better and better. Each episode gets better than the last one. If you love D&D podcasts, comment down below saying what your favorite D&D podcast is. Also, leave a suggested D&D podcast, as I am always looking for more to watch. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button and subscribe down below for more content like this. Roll with you later.